We decided to brew with Nicaraguan beans because they tasted by far the best when compared to the other two types for both roasting methods.
After some internal disagreement, we decided to compromise for our roast. We used 30% Nesco roasted beans since we thought they were better tasting, but we used air roasted beans for the other 70% as they were much more energy efficient.
We roast in the air roaster for 8 minutes to produce city roast beans. We want darker beans because in our trials, the lighter roast produced coffee that was too acidic.
We roasted the beans in the Nesco for 20 minutes, producing a Vienna light roast. We thought this roast tasted better, and we thought the darker roast did a better job bringing out the oils. For our brew, we used AeroPress with a paper filter. We did a side-by-side comparison of the drip brewer, the French press, and the AeroPress with both the metal and paper filter and concluded that the AeroPress with the paper filter made the best tasting coffee. As with all our AeroPress trials, we used a medium fine grind and light to medium pressure.
We went with an 11-to-1 ratio of water to beans for our brew. We experimented with a 10-to-1 and a 12-to-1 ratio, finding that 12-to-1 would to be too weak and the 10-to-1 to be too strong, so we settled with an 11-to-1 ratio as a middle ground between the two.
In our trials, we were having problems with the extraction being too low, so we decided to use 99 degrees Celsius water as it increased it. In another effort to increase extraction, we decided to use a 10-minute extraction time since our 7-minute trials had too low of an extraction.
For our competition brew, we used 100 grams of beans, 63.6 grams of air-roasted beans, and 27.3 grams of Nesco roasted beans, loosely following our 70-to-30 ratio. We used 1,100 grams of water to compensate for any mass loss during heating and extraction. In the end, this resulted in 826 grams of brewed coffee.
In terms of energy, we used a total of 0.277 kilowatts to make our brew. 0.187 kilowatts came from roasting the beans, and 0.09 kilowatts came from heating the water to 99 Celsius degrees.
Our process flow diagram looked like this. We started with Nicaraguan green beans. 30% were roasted in the Nesco, retaining 83.5% of their original mass. 70% were roasted in the air roaster, retaining 87.1% of their original mass. In both cases, mass was lost through chaff and steam. The beans then went to the grinder, where they were turned into coffee grounds, emitting CO2 and VOCs along the way. The grounds were then placed in the AeroPress. Meanwhile, the cool water was taken and put in the kettle, where it was heated, losing some mass due to steam. The hot water was then placed in the AeroPress with the grounds, where extraction began. During the mixing period in the AeroPress, CO2 and VOCs were emitted, and some mass was lost due to steam. When the mixture was extracted, the grounds and other oils were discarded in the filter as the rest passed through into the coffee mug, ready to be placed in the carafe. We thought the brew was a little on the sour and acidic side, but it had a nice aftertaste, a full body, and a good aroma. We came in third place in our class with an average blind taste test of 28, so we obviously did something right.